My name is Tom Hiles, and I'm Vice Chancellor for University Advancement. I'm very pleased to welcome you here today. We're here for a very special announcement, and my job is to just introduce the dais and tell you that we're glad that you're here. So Chancellor Lofton will be providing the announcement on this very special occasion in a few minutes. He will go first. Then Mike O'Brien, the Dean of the College of Arts and Science, will go next and respond to that as well. And then we'll later hear from our special guest of honor, MU Theater Professor Dr. Suzanne Burgoyne, who's here today. And we'll let the Chancellor share more about that. I will say that later in this week we are planning an additional gifts announcement. This is my favorite thing to do, needless to say, but we're very grateful, and it's particularly meaningful when it comes from a faculty member. So with no further ado, let me turn it over to Chancellor R. Bowen Lofton. Thank you.
Okay, a deep breath. M-I-Z. Fantastic. Reminds me of the wrestling match yesterday. It was a lot of fun to watch our young men win the conference championship yesterday. But not as special as this, actually, not as special as this. This is one of those great moments, as Tom has said, when we get to acknowledge someone who's been extraordinarily generous to our university. And it is especially important when there's someone inside the university. That's what makes this even better than any other announcement I could make. And this has been now something I've done twice. Last fall, we had a fellow faculty member from the University of Missouri also do a very similar thing for us, and we celebrated that, and we're going to celebrate this again today. This is the second of 6 announcements we're going to make, we know of so far anyway, during this season of the year, so more is to come, and we're going to have one more this week as well, as you know. These are the things that we really relish because they not only thank a donor, they also celebrate the generosity of people who've made this university's trajectory so powerful over time. When I looked at what Suzanne has done here in the theater department, I looked at several aspects of it. First of all, the impact on your students has been profound. You bring a passion, a true passion for what you do, and it shows. It really does. See? How many actors want that kind of response when they perform? Think about it. But I want to mention 2 other things that maybe not you're all aware of. This is something else that makes this person so very, very special. She has worked with the Ford Foundation's Difficult Dialogues Initiative. And that's something I'm very familiar with. It's an impactful thing on a college campus to help people understand how to get past their own backgrounds and their own limiting vision of what they see around them by engaging in what we call difficult dialogues, intergroup dialogues that really bring out important things you never have seen before. Even though your eyes were open, you weren't seeing them. These dialogues do that. So thank you for that contribution to our campus. It's been impactful as well. The other part of this is something I'm very familiar with, and that's NSF's advanced program. I chaired the oversight committee of that at my last university. It's a program NSF has put forward to really promote women in science and engineering. It's especially built to try to keep people in the field. It is so difficult for us to have a young woman at our campus, for example, see the need to become a graduate student and prolong poverty a lot longer to get that PhD and then be in front of the classroom. You know, we have here a majority of female undergraduates. We have more undergraduate females than males here at the University of Missouri. Not so true of our faculty. Not so true of our faculty. So to have a female student not see someone in front of the classroom like themselves is telling them perhaps subliminally that they're not meant for that purpose. They're not meant to be teachers and researchers here at a university like Mizzou. And so Advance is meant to help that happen. And when you get young women to get an advanced degree and come to your university, to keep them there, understand the challenges they face. You've been part of that too, Suzanne, so thank you so much for that. Think about the contribution she's made in so many ways. That's just what really stunned me about her record here. So today, I'm very pleased to celebrate a gift pledge of $1 million to the University of Missouri from Suzanne Burgoyne to create the Center for Applied Theater and Drama Research in the Department of Theater. Thank you so much. How many actors get this? I think you understand the passion she's inculcated in her students here at the university and her colleagues as well. This passion has led to her being given top teaching awards here. And again, this particular gift, Suzanne, ensures your longevity here in so many ways. As Tom will tell you, when you make an estate gift, you live much longer, okay? We understand that. So you must teach longer now, too, as well. Think about that. You've kind of committed yourself to the long haul here. And so, this is what I want to sort of cite here as the capturing of your gift core. Through her generosity and dedication to her craft, it's obvious that Dr. Burgoyne is passionate about theater education. She's a credit to the MU faculty and to the entire academic community, and a model of how giving back to our great university can not only improve education and important research, but also advance the goals and passions and dreams of herself as a donor beyond their lifetimes. So again, thank you so much for that. Let me turn it over to Dean O'Brien to continue the comment about this great gift. Thanks.
Thank you, Chancellor Lofton and Vice Chancellor Hiles. We'll go off script here for a second. The Chancellor did more than just allude to it, but when he made the announcement, everybody applauded. Suzanne leaned over and said, "You need to tell them they don't get it till I die." So, didn't you? I'm not making that. But the Chancellor in his wisdom covered that. I've known Suzanne Burgoyne for over a quarter century. In fact, I remember interviewing her in 1989 when she was thinking of joining us from her position at Creighton, and we're certainly all delighted that she did. Throughout her illustrious career, Professor Burgoyne has been the recipient of Kellogg and Fulbright fellowships, and as the Chancellor said, one of our distinguished teaching awards, the Kemper. And one of the most prestigious of all, she was named to be a curator's professor. As Chancellor Lofton noted, Professor Burgoyne is using her bequest to establish the Center for Applied Theater and Drama Research. This monetary investment is, I think, the largest ever made by a faculty member in the College of Arts and Science. The center will expand opportunities to use theater techniques as active learning strategies in a number of disciplines and industries, and I know the center will have a widespread impact not only on the college and department, but the greater community. I want to briefly steer away from this particular landmark and mention another one that will forever stay with us. As some of you know, the College of Arts and Science has embarked on a long-term program to infuse our curriculum with elements of entrepreneurship and innovation. We educate our students to use their talents to pursue truth and knowledge, but there's nothing wrong with teaching them how to be entrepreneurial too. And nowhere are our efforts more apparent than in the arts. Our students love this, and I want to single out Suzanne for being the one behind this initiative. It was our early discussions 6 or 7 years ago that laid the foundation for everything that we do in A&S in terms of entrepreneurship and innovation, and I give her all the credit in the world for being the agent of change. So thank you, Professor Burgoyne, for sharing all aspects of your talent, vision, and passion with us. The gift that we celebrate today will continue your important work far into the future. That gift, together with your continued wise counsel, your teaching, and your performance, are your legacy, and they underscore the fact that, as the Chancellor noted, you are a truly unique individual. So let's hear it from her.
I believe that theater is a powerful art form, one that allows us to explore what it means to be human. Theatrical directing is the art form that I personally practice. Now, applied theater has become an umbrella term for using elements of the art form, performance, and acting exercises for other purposes, usually either therapeutic or educational. I stumbled upon the power of applied theater some 35 years ago as a director. I discovered that using improvisational theater exercises in rehearsal could have a strong personal impact on student actors, including enhancing their creativity. Since then, I've explored theater techniques as pedagogy for other fields, beginning with the Kellogg National Fellowship in the early 1980s. For their 3-year program in leadership development and interdisciplinary research, Kellogg sought young leaders dedicated to social justice and willing to step outside of their disciplinary silos. As a fellow, I trained in therapeutic theater and collaborated with another fellow in applying theater techniques to faculty development. As a Carnegie Scholar in 2000-2001, I studied current research on how humans actually learn. I learned that, as biologist Craig Nelson, a member of my Carnegie Scholar cohort, argues in American Behavioral Scientist, quote, active learning techniques have proven so superior to lecture that now the burden of proof has shifted. Applied theater and drama are active learning techniques. For 35 years, I've pursued the exploration of what theater may have to offer as a teaching strategy for social justice issues, to develop student creativity, to enhance communication in diverse fields. The last 25 of those years have been at the University of Missouri, where I have felt blessed to find support in my department, in the College of Arts and Science, from the Chancellor's Diversity Initiative, and from interdisciplinary colleagues across campus, including the Life Sciences Center, the Schools of Medicine and Nursing, as well as MU Extension. I've also been blessed to work with dedicated and talented students, both graduate and undergraduate, who have joined me in my quest. I am grateful for this opportunity to provide a means of sustaining the work in applied theater for generations of students to come, and to expand the research and contribute to the improvement of teaching and learning methods for the 21st century. In 2003, theater colleague Clyde Ruffin and I founded the Mizzou Interactive Theater Troupe, which is, interactive theater is one of the applied theater methods, only one of them. Clyde, most of you probably don't know, was also a Kellogg Fellow, and there were not very many theater Kellogg Fellows in that 19-year program. Since I think one has to experience participatory theater in order to understand it, we're going to give you a very short performance, just a taste of applied theater. So you'll see a short play, Parts of Speech, which takes place in an English composition classroom. No disparagement of English composition intended. On their way to class, students have encountered an evangelist proselytizing at Speaker's Circle. We don't know where this university is, of course. Following the play, the actors will stay in character and answer questions from the audience, you. This is your opportunity to find out why the characters behaved as they did, something we usually don't have the opportunity to find out in our daily lives. So as you watch, think about what questions you'd like to ask. Could we have some lights on the stage, please? And we will move along to Parts of Speech.
And then he said, "Are you saved?"
And you said?
Saved from what?
Sounds like you two just came to the Speaker's Circle. Is Brother Carl at it again?
He sure is.
Wish that guy'd take a break.
He should be kicked off campus.
You can't just kick him off campus.
Why not?
Ever hear of the First Amendment?
Yeah?
Freedom of speech?
So?
Duh, he has a right to speak at Speaker's Circle.
What about my right not to hear it? It's like pollution, like secondhand smoke.
You don't have to listen, just walk the other way.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Oh, hello, Dr. Block. I've been looking forward to your visit. You're early.
I brought some papers to grade.
Here, let me get you a chair.
You have 7.5 minutes before class starts. I'll just sit here where I can observe your teaching. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll do fine.
Look, I don't agree with him, but he's got a right to say what he wants.
Not if he incites people to violence.
You're confusing freedom of speech with freedom of press.
No, they're the same thing.
Those folks, they're all the same.
But
All religions incite people to violence. They're the root of the world's problems.
Hi, Margaret.
You would not believe what I just saw in the library.
you're still confusing freedom of speech with freedom of press. It's freedom of press that you can't incite people to violence.
Okay, so like those comics, oh, well, were they?
Danish.
Exactly. And I'm
Oh, I
inciting
saw
to violence.
those. Yeah, those cartoons, like with some Arab guy.
That wasn't some guy, that was Muhammad.
Well, so?
So people died because of those cartoons.
Well, see? Religion. My point.
The press has a responsibility to report without bias and do no harm.
Okay, so what about that guy who put a crucifix in a glass of urine and called it art?
Freedom of expression.
But it's really upsetting. It won a big national art grant.
You don't take that stuff seriously, do you?
Yes, I take it seriously. It's offensive.
Well, they're just looking for your reaction. If you don't react, then there's no point.
Weren't you the one just having a big reaction to Brother Carl? How is this any different?
I guess you're right.
But it's offensive!
Please, we don't want a cartoon jihad here.
What's a jihad?
It's Arabic for holy war.
It is? I thought the Holy War was the Crusades.
Actually, it does not mean holy war, it means something else.
What?
Really?
I don't recall exactly what it is. I'm an English professor, not a theologian. But I do recall that it does not mean holy war.
Oh, hi, Nadia.
I hope I'm not late.
You still have a few minutes before class starts.
I was in the library, thought I was going to be late, so I rushed past the speaker's circle, and that guy,
Brother Carl.
yeah, him, he told me I was going to hell.
Huh. A lot of people are going to hell.
I think it's narrow-minded of people to presume that they know who God's going to allow into heaven on the last day.
Freedom of speech. He can say whatever he wants.
Okay, listen. I just came from the library and I saw those people.
I know what you saw. The people.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
go-
they were like standing shoulder to shoulder and they were saying something like la 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 la. I mean, I can't say it right, but
Try speaking in tongues.
It's La ilaha illallah, and it means there is no God but God.
do you want to hear the rest of this or not?
No.
Okay, so then those people, they got on the ground and they bowed down like this. And I turned to my friend and I said, "Aren't you afraid?" And she said, "What for?" And I said, "Because they're praying." I mean, don't you get it? They're in our classes, biology, chemistry. I mean, it scares me. They might be praying for another 9/11 or that somebody starts shooting like that Hassan guy at Fort Hood.
I was there.
You were?
I mean, I was in the library, praying.
You're one of...
Yeah, I'm a Muslim. And now that guy at the speaker circle is telling me I'm going to hell.
Well, there's only one way to the throne.
We're not the ones that...
Say something.
I don't know, but can't you help?
This is not my class. I do not want to interfere.
I really should use Okay. Class? Class! This is not a church. This is not a temple. This is not a mosque. And our book isn't the Bible or the Quran. It's our English grammar text. And we need to get to today's topic. My pet peeve, dangling modifiers. Does anyone know anything about dangling modifiers?
Not a thing.
Can't we just get back to our discussion?
I'm sorry, we have a lot to cover today. We can't.
What's a dangling modifier?
Nadia, do you know what a dangling modifier is?
Brother Carl, he's so ignorant.
Well, you may be right about Brother Carl, but that's not a dangling modifier.
He is ignorant.
He's just expressing his freedom
Okay,
of
okay.
speech.
Does anyone have any idea about dangling modifiers? Lily?
I haven't evolved far enough to know. I'm just a dangling modified ape.
No, you're not. Darwin was wrong. I didn't know you were an atheist.
Actually, I'm.
Darwin was not wrong. Lily is not a religious fanatic like some
Stop!
people.
You keep putting down religion. After listening to you, it's offensive.
Don't tell me we agree on something.
Right. After listening to you, it's offensive. Now that's a dangling modifier.
that's the end of the play. So now we'll just take a few minutes to do an important part of the interactive theater process, which is take some questions from the audience. And we're going to do just 2 or 3 questions because, again, we don't have a lot of time. But we want to give you a taste of what this is like. If we were going to do the whole session, we would then, after the questions, invite you one at a time to volunteer to come up on stage, replace one of the teachers, and try out your own strategy for facilitating a difficult dialogue on religious difference. But we don't have time. So just a few questions. Let's remind us of your names, please.
I'm Tommy.
Dr. Block.
I'm Margaret.
I'm Lily.
Danny?
I'm Nadia.
And if you forget names, I'm terrible with names, you can just, point or say, you, the second person in blue, whatever works. Could we possibly have any light on the audience, or is that not possible? Okay. Oh, there we go. That's better. Thank you. Who has a question for one of these folks, one of these characters? And remember, you're talking to the character, not the actor. Yes.
I have a question for Nadia. Nadia, do you believe that what character name?
Margaret.
Margaret was saying is offensive to you, or do you believe that you agree on this topic?
Wait, which
On
thing
the
that she
topic
said?
of religion. Do you think you agree?
When she was talking about seeing people praying in the library?
Well, do you agree that she believes that religion is something that other people can offend?
Yes.
And are you offended by anybody else other than Margaret?
Yes.
No, it's not just Margaret, folks. Maybe you were talking about there's a line towards the end where Margaret and Nadia say, oh, don't tell me we agree on something. So what do you agree on? That religion is important and it shouldn't be made fun of?
Exactly. I'm kind of surprised that we're seeing eye to eye on something, but yeah. that's how
Yeah,
I
because
feel.
after all, you weren't seeing eye to eye on things before. Another question. Yes?
What about the Book of Mormon, the musical?
Oh, who are you asking, Jim?
I love that show.
Do you think that's offensive?
I mean, I'm not Mormon, but
No, but I mean, if you're standing up for all religions, there are many Mormons who are offended by that musical, and it's the biggest hit on Broadway.
that's a good point, I guess, but that wasn't the specific thing we're dealing with. But yeah, I mean, I guess I feel very attacked for my beliefs a lot of the time, so I guess I could say that I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. Another question. Yes?
For Dr. Block, were you at any point going to get more involved, or are you going to stay in your chair and not really engage?
My job here is to observe his teaching, not to teach the class.
Okay, I'm going to introduce you very quickly to a technique that we have called time in, time out. In other words, everybody up to now has been timed in, all the other characters can hear them. When we put somebody into timeout, that means the other characters can't hear them, only you can hear them. Dr. Block, are there any other reasons timed out why you would not want to get involved in this conversation?
Because I don't have tenure and I'm not looking to get fired.
Have you had any training in religious diversity or how to handle these kinds of conversations?
No, that's not the focus of what we do here. Wasn't the focus of when I got my PhD. That was not anything we got serious training on, no.
Okay. So do you feel qualified to lead a discussion
Not
like
in the
that?
least.
Okay. I have a quick question, watching our time, for Margaret. Margaret, everybody is timed in. Could you tell us just a little bit about your religious background?
Yes, I was raised Southern Baptist, and I was raised to believe that it's very important for all people to have a very personal relationship with Jesus and with God, and that you need to accept Jesus into your heart in order to be saved. And so that was the thing that I grew up with, and I was homeschooled, and all my friends were from my church, so coming here to a big university where there are people who believe different things, I don't know. I feel very threatened a lot of the time. I feel like people think I'm stupid for my beliefs.
Okay, let's time you out and investigate that just a little bit, and this will be probably the last question we'll go into. So you mentioned you felt afraid. Talk about that a little bit. Why do you feel afraid?
Well, because I don't know what Muslims believe. I mean, all I know is it's not the same as what I believe, and that's really scary. And if all I have is what I see on TV and war and Muslims like putting down women, like that's kind of what I'm assuming she believes. I don't know.
Okay, so the media has some influence also on what you think is going on here and the vision that you have, the image that you have as Muslims. Did I hear you say you think people think you're stupid?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I have felt a lot since I've started coming to college. Just I feel like people assume, oh, she's religious, so she doesn't know anything about anything besides her religion. And that's been really hard, like just trying to learn how to sort of get past that kind of a barrier, I feel like, with people. So, I don't know.
Okay.
It's been tough.
Does it hurt your feelings?
I mean, yeah, for sure. So I feel like I have to put such like a strong front out to everybody else and be really upfront about what I believe. But yeah, I think underneath it is really like, it's hard.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have one last question you want to ask? Anybody? Any of the characters? Yes.
Margaret. So I don't know if you read on the story of Saul, then named Paul, but in Acts 8, 9, and 11, it's the story of Saul was Jewish. He persecuted a lot of Christians. He actually ended up killing a number of them. And then Paul, God decided to work through him, renamed him Paul. He became a follower of Jesus. And he went on to write most of the letters of the New Testament, including when he writes to the people of Corinth in 1 Corinthians. He says, faith, hope, and love, do these in all things, but the greatest of these is love. How important do you feel it is for us as Christians to use love in both believers and non-believers?
That is a very good point. I don't know. So maybe I'm not reacting the best way, but I'm just reacting with sort of my fear of the unknown, and I don't know, just like things that I'm hearing are really scary. So maybe I am being a bit too harsh, but I don't know. It's tough. So that's a good point, though.
Okay. All right. Just so that you understand what we're trying to do with these pieces, in order to set up a difficult dialogue, we want everybody to understand that there are different points of view. And if we want people to be able to talk to each other without screaming at each other, but to talk and to listen to each other and to treat each other with respect, then we do have to respect different points of view. And so we try to present all of the characters, each character as having his or her point of view and some reasons for that point of view. We're not trying to make anybody the good guy or the villain, right? We're trying to teach that we all have things to learn from each other. One of the things that I just want to share with you, and then we'll move along, is that one of my best, strongest, most meaningful memories from doing this particular piece for an audience was about 10 years ago, 8 years ago. And a young Muslim faculty member came up to me afterwards and said to me, until I saw this piece, until we did this, that was the first time I was able to voice my feelings in public since 9/11. So we try to do this work. One of the things that we try to do with Implied Theater is to empower people to speak up for themselves, to stand up for themselves, and to communicate with each other. What I'm going to do now is take the actors out of character. This is a ritual we have. We de-roll them. So everybody please introduce yourselves as yourself.
Hello, I'm Will Palmer. I'm a third-year doctoral student in the theater department.
I'm Jean Taxier. I'm the artist in residence with MFA from Penn State.
My name is Kelsey Clark. I'm my sophomore psychology major pursuing a minor in theater.
My name's Kristen Thackeray. I'm a senior theater and hospitality management major pursuing minors in business and entrepreneurship.
I'm Dylan Bainter, and I'm a fourth-year theater major.
Hi, my name is Melissa Jackson Burns, and I'm a third-year PhD student in theater.
Let's have a round of applause for the actors. much for coming out to celebrate something that is so very meaningful to me. I've worked with a lot of people across campus, and I see a lot of those people here tonight. So thank you again, and I will meet you in the reception room. Heather and her hordes have prepared good food, so enjoy. Thank you.